from WNBC.
Mayor and everyone on the call, good morning. Mayor, when you first hired the DOI commissioner, you praised her decades protecting the public's interest, prosecuting criminals inside and outside the government, said she was fiercely dedicated to defending what's right, and cited her 12 years as a federal prosecutor. And yet today, the findings are described as unprofessional, unfair, naive, and inaccurate. How do you go from that kind of experience level and background, someone you appointed, to your conclusion that basically they didn't know what they were doing?
No, I don't think that's the right conclusion. I'm entirely surprised by the inaccuracies in this report. I'm entirely surprised that they chose not to interview the top security experts at the NYPD. You'll notice they brag in the report about calling different unnamed federal security officials or former officials, but they couldn't find John Miller's phone number. Even after I said in an interview with them, John Miller is the ultimate word and where we get the ultimate guidance from, something's funny there. But Andrew, no, I have praised the commissioner because I saw a lot of great work historically. In fact, the most notable example was since she became commissioner, and this DOI did an exhaustive report on the protests of the spring and summer of 2020. It was a report that had some tough criticisms of me and the police department. It had recommendations. I said I found it to be strikingly fair, thoughtful, well researched, well documented. I thought the criticisms were fair. I didn't agree with every single piece of the report, but I thought the criticisms were fair. I thought there were things we needed to do differently, and I accepted all the recommendations. So when they do their job, I will be the first to praise them. But how do you forget to interview the guy in charge of security if you're doing a report on security? It just doesn't add up. Go ahead, Andrew.
In the case of this security detail, isn't the actual guy in charge Howard Redmond, the police inspector in charge of your family security detail? And didn't the DOI conclude that Mr. Redmond tried to destroy his cell phone and obstructed the investigation? Do either you or Mr. Miller have anything to say about that conclusion?
I will say first, and the Deputy Commissioner will speak to it, there's a chain of command, and I was abundantly clear with the Commissioner, DOI, and her team. Redmond reports to Galati, reports to Miller. And the go-to on all the big guidance, the big decision-making of how to address security threats, how to set up security overall, the decision maker, the final decision maker is always Deputy Commissioner Miller, because he is again, one of the leading national experts on security and intelligence gathering and counterterrorism. I said that clear as a bell. That is how it operates. So it's a shocking omission that neither Galati nor Miller were interviewed. Second, all I can say about Inspector Howard Redmond, I've worked with him for 8 years. I found him to be an incredibly devoted public servant, person of real integrity, who served the city now almost 30 years in the NYPD. That's what I know. I don't know anything about what's alleged in the report, but I know what I've experienced for 8 years. Deputy Commissioner, do you want to add?
Sure. From a personal standpoint, I've worked together with Inspector Redmond for 8 years. I have found him to be professional, reliable, knowledgeable about executive protection and security, and extraordinarily responsive to the needs of this extremely challenging job. That said, from a personal standpoint, from an institutional standpoint, the Department of Investigation report has referred that information to another agency, and the NYPD will cooperate with any lawful probe.
Go ahead.
The next is David Evans.